What is going on, everybody? It's Ryan with Tundra 4x4.club. I hope you guys had a great week. You had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And today we're going to go over, I'd probably say something that's going to be argumentative by many standards, but we're going to go over the off-road capabilities of the Toyota Tundra. Let's get into that right now. And if this is your first time here, I would like to say welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching this video. Pretty much on this channel, we're talking about Tundra upgrades, and pretty much everything off-road. So if you're into that type of thing, hit the like button down below, hit that bell icon so you know every single time we do a video. So I'll let you know right off the bat, this is gonna be a longer video than I've done in the past. We have a lot of things to cover, and I wanna make sure that everybody knows this is gonna be, in my opinion, and the fact that I've now gone through two Tundras and in two different body styles. Now, off-road capabilities is a subjective topic, so it all depends on what you're kind of looking for and what you're going to be using your truck for. But we're going to try to cover that in all bases. And this is more geared towards maybe somebody who is looking for a new truck, doesn't quite know what to go with, and maybe the Tundra's on their list. Maybe this will help you out a little bit if you're looking at any type of off-road and what those capabilities are. When we're talking about off-road capabilities, and we're talking specifically about the Tundra right now, is what are we looking to get out of that? One, she's a big girl, right? So you have to look at all the different aspects of what you're going to be doing in your life. Are you going to be towing? And if you are going to be towing, what type of weights are you talking about here? That's a really important question to ask. The Tundra is a capable truck off-road and can tow a lot of weight in comparison to some of the others. So we have to look at all those aspects. So if you're looking at something that you want to buy right off the shelf and maybe not do anything to it, you just like the way that it feels stock, it's covered under the warranty, and you go with like a TRD or a TRD Pro, you're gonna have a lot of capabilities. There's actually a really great video, and I'll post the link right up here, but there's a really great video of a guy that takes a TRD Pro Tundra and pretty much goes to many different destinations. This thing is bone stock. He goes to Moab. He goes through Hell's Revenge. And really, really fun video to watch if you're looking into a Tundra and just seeing what that TRD Pro can do, just bone stock. One thing that you should keep in mind is that the Ford Raptor really changed and revolutionized the stock truck market, if you will. They are the bar. And I'm not making a spin off their commercial. I mean, that is the bar that everybody wants to get to, just because of what it comes with. I mean, you pay a pretty penny, but that's the bar. That's the standard now. Let's say you do go with something like an SR5 like we have here, knowing that we were going to do some upgrades. Looking at those capabilities bone stock and looking at those capabilities and what we have now with the upgrades we've done. So the first Tundra I had was a 2007. It was a double cab, and it was the Limited. Now, I wasn't looking at doing a whole lot of upgrades on it. I liked the smoothness of the vehicle. I did some off-roading on the weekends, nothing too crazy, but I have a good grasp of what the double cab can do off-road stock, what the Crew Max can do, and pretty much what it can't do. We have to look at I would say the science, if you will, of it all. You have to look at everything from your approach angle, your exit angle, and then also your breakover angle. Okay, I'll kind of show a design on what I'm talking about here, and this is going to factor into a lot of different things that you can and cannot do off-road. The wheelbase on this truck is 145.7 inches, and it's right there with its competitors as far as having like a four-door, I think they call it the Super Crew on the Raptor. That one actually has it's right there. They say it's like 145 to 165, depending on certain things. But wheelbase, when you're off-roading, is very, very important because that's going to affect that break-over angle. So when you're bone stock in your Tundra and you want to go out maybe on a weekend warrior status, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can go, down some of these fire roads or washboard road, kind of rut it out. The biggest thing is going to be speed, and speed is really the factor that you have to put into play when you talk about anything off-road. If you're out desert running, everybody wants to go fast, kind of go through those whoops and kind of float across them. Let's be honest, you're not going to be able to do that in a stock Tundra, but you can have a lot of fun And then if you start doing a little bit of upgrades, or if you have something that's like a TRD Pro with some, beefier suspension, then you can look at those types of things and maybe increase your speed a little bit. But as far as climbing and things like that, you can have a lot of fun on the weekends. I've done it. And I did it with the 2007, the Limited, and it was a great time. Now, I had to slow it down quite a bit. I couldn't keep up with maybe my buddies because I didn't have anything that was aftermarket, and I got there a couple minutes behind them, but at the same time I was still off-roading. I was having a good time. Let's kind of get into some of the upgrades that you can do. Minimal. We're talking right from the start to make sure that you're having a great time. You may not be the first one to the top of the hill, but you also can have a lot of fun and be right there. Hopefully you've been watching Project Tundra. If not, I will throw a link up at the end of this video so you can watch that series of kind of everything that we've done, minus a little snafu we had with our computer, which lost some footage. Now, these are the things that I've done to this Tundra, and let's be honest, doing upgrades on your vehicle, it doesn't matter what type of vehicle, off-road, on-road, doesn't matter, is a lot of fun. I am going to put all the links in the description down below of all the product that we're talking about, so go ahead and check those out if it's something that you're interested in. But first things first, we went with the 6112s on the front end of this Tundra. That's Bill Stein's kind of off-road bolt-on performance package. So it's a 60 millimeter bore. It's really wide. It is not a true coilover system. We went to 6112s in the front of this vehicle. It comes with its own spring from Eibach that is matched for this truck. That gave it about 2.75 inches of lift on the front end of this truck, which we were really happy with. What we did in the rear is we went with the 5160s with the reservoir. 5160s, good complement, still Bill Stein. I got it as a total package, and like I said, it was very cost effective, and so far we've been very, very happy with it. One of the upgrades that gets commonly overlooked, but I thought made a really big difference, and even during one of my installs, one of the installers made a comment and how valuable it was, is I went with Wheeler's bump stops. I did a video on Wheeler's. You can check it out up here, but it's a relatively inexpensive, $50 add-on that makes a huge difference versus your stock bump stops and then having the Wheeler system with a progressive spring. So check into Wheeler's. I could feel a difference. It did absorb some bottom out hard, I would say, especially when you're going over whoops and things like that, is where you can really tell the difference. But to have somebody else who has been working on vehicles for a long time make the comment like, hey, this is a smart idea, it might be worth it to you to take a look at the Wheeler's bump stops to replace your factory bump stops. Food for thought. Now, we do have a BA exhaust system on here, which in itself, it makes it really sound cool. It sounds tough. I don't know if I necessarily felt a big horsepower difference, but it does give it a really deep, throaty sound, but it is something that we added on. The other thing that we did in the rear is we went with a combination. We went with a Deaver mini pack. What it did is it replaced that overload spring that the Tundra comes with. The reason that the Tundra has such a, I would say, history of a bad bed bounce when you're going off-roading is because that really hefty overload spring, which helps you, tow more weight in the long run. But we replaced that with the Deaver mini pack. We also added on to that Deaver mini pack and went with the Sumo springs, which is made by Super Springs. And what it did is it allowed us to tow without that bad sag, because we did replace that overload spring. So when I was towing the trailer, there would be a sag, noticeably in the tongue area. So with those Sumo springs installed, it's an airless airbag system. I'll do a video later on how easy it is to install and uninstall the Sumo springs, but honestly, I've off-roaded with the Sumo springs. I just kept them on and really didn't notice that much of a difference. But if I'm going to do something like up in Sedona or something like that, where I know it's going to be more articulation needed for what we're doing off-road, then I would just take them off right when I got to where I was going. It literally takes probably 20 minutes to replace those factory bump stops with the Sumo springs. The biggest upgrade that we did to this Tundra was getting a rear diff locker. We went with the ARB air locker. And I will tell you, it is a world of difference when it comes down to competing with that Raptor style vehicle, having a solid locking rear differential, plus having that onboard air to be able to fill up quickly instead of like maybe, you know, pulling something out, hooking up to the battery and all that kind of stuff. I would tell you having the onboard air is pretty awesome. The ARB air locker, I've challenged myself in certain areas where I've seen my buddies go in four-wheel drive. I've been able to attack that in two-wheel drive using the rear locker. So that gives you an idea of what the difference is when it comes to using that for off-road. With a few minor upgrades, you can go out there and have a lot of fun with the Tundra. When we went to Sedona, there was a group of us that broke off and we did the Broken Arrow Trail in Sedona, Arizona. That is a Jeep trail. It's rated hard on whoever rates those things. But all four Tundras made it to the top of the Broken Arrow Trail. We had a great time doing it, unbelievable views. It was a good time and a good moment to kind of get the truck up there and maybe kind of show some of those Jeep guys, you know, because it is a Jeep trail, you know, that were a little frustrated when they saw four Tundras sitting at the top of Broken Arrow Trail. So as far as, I mean, the Tundras that were with us, I will tell you that nobody had anything extravagant, you know, minus maybe a couple inch lift and some bigger tires. So that leads me to kind of my question and my thoughts. If you follow this channel, you definitely know that we've been trying to do moderate upgrades to see how we can compete with a Raptor, with a Gen 1 Raptor anyway, and what kind of upgrades it's going to take so that you'll know, like, hey, I want to get a Tundra, I want to put these upgrades on, and I know that if my buddy's got a Raptor, we can both be on the same playing field. The question is simple. It's this. I am in debate right now of maybe going with a Frankenstein system, which means keeping my 5160s in the rear and installing some Fox 2.5s in the front, fully adjustable. I mean, I've been running these Bilsteins for 2 years. I love them. I think I've got a really good grasp of how they feel, but I might be able to say, hey, look, I've ran both and I can give you my honest answer, and maybe we'll put that to bed. So let me know down in the comments on what you think of that. But that's gonna do it for this video. Please make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Put your comments down below on what you think about that Frankenstein system. I'd be curious to know. And also maybe some of your upgrades that you're thinking about doing. Until next time, we'll catch you on the back roads.